Testosterone is this fun ride. Enclomiphene is like the PCT get off the ride. What is up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's ASMR sip is 1907wire.com. Coupon code Russo. ASMR Spritz Intelligent Elephant Cobalt. Here are your spritz noises. Gotta buy it to smell it. I missed the cap. Today, I'm going to be ranting about Enclomiphene only. Enclomid has been around as a post-psychotherapy drug in the bodybuilding world for who knows how long at this point, and it was always associated with horrible emotional side effects as well as potential eyesight damage, eye floaters in the eyes. This has been known. The new generation of lifters comes out who are even more scared of syringes. Now picks up on Enclomid's iteration evolution, Enclomiphene, where they separate zooclomiphene from enclomiphene, right? So zooclomiphene is what we all tended to believe was the emotional side effects, all the crappy side effects mentally of regular Enclomid, where Enclomiphene was the better, more refined version. This new generation of lifters has now viewed this drug as a testosterone booster, and I just wanted to go into some things that could happen to someone uneducated about boosting their testosterone with a drug. Yes, you could argue that this is the natural steroid cycle, blah, 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 because you're using a drug to boost your natural testosterone. Let's say said person watching TikTok, insert age of said person on TikTok, watching natural testosterone bodybuilding and comes across Enclomiphene. Person buys Enclomiphene, starts dosing Enclomiphene super aggressively, natural testosterone goes up, which yields a higher estrogen conversion. So when you go to the doctor is going to get your blood work done to see if your estrogen rises with the Enclomiphene dosage, but this TikToker isn't going to do that, right? So then the TikToker probably doesn't have enough money to do steroids in general, but anyways, he runs through the Enclomiphene, he goes off cold turkey. Now that estrogen feedback loop is fucked up. He will now have a overall lower testosterone score than he did when he started, most likely. The other thing you need to take into consideration with Enclomiphene is doing the opposite. Now there's going to be people paranoid of doing Enclomid because of the gynecomastia side effects. Yeah, I don't understand like why we can't just be honest about the side effects of shit. On TikTok, you know, Andrew threw up the MK677 has no side effects.
MK Goblin, fact. Man's just talking about 677, not Ostarine. I don't fuck with Ostarine. Don't ever do Ostarine. If there's one compound that I would recommend for someone who's tired of being fucking natty, it would be MK677. It's a relatively safe compound. You're not going to have to do a PCT. For those hard gainers out there, it's going to increase your appetite. It's definitely the only SARM that's worth looking into. All other SARMs, completely fucking whack. They're hella suppressive. They will absolutely fucking obliterate your SHBG, sexual hormone binding globulin, give you limp dick, and just make you feel like shit 24/7.
Enclomiphene has no side effects, so you can get gynecomastia. Now you're gonna have guys paranoid going in the opposite way to this Enclomiphene cycle with an AI right off the bat, and this AI could shove your estrogen too low, which then would start obliterating your cholesterol and overall would throw your biomarkers out of whack. This is not a natural supplement. This is not a natural supplement. Like, you cannot be marketing it as the same thing as a natural supplement, right? Because these natural supplements, although they boost your numbers, let's think of the average natural testosterone booster. You're only going to move your numbers like 100 to 400 points max on, you know, the scale. With something like Clomiphene or Enclomiphene, you can move like 1,000 on the scale, I think, like 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 at the max, right? If you did 100 plus Clomid a day, had that half-life stacked up super crazy high, you're in a place where endogenously you would never probably get that high. It's unmaintainable. It's causing this estrogen imbalance that when you come off the Clomid, you then have this estrogen influx, which fucks up the feedback loop and then you're left with an overall lower testosterone score. Vice versa, you know about the estrogen issue. You go in with way too much AI, you obliterate your cholesterol, your joints, tendons, ligaments all feel like shit. Your libido goes down because estrogen for libido in men is important. And then you yielded what? No results basically because you need a high enough estrogen score to even build muscle. This is why wet cycles, I should do another rant on wet cycles versus dry cycles and why the old school guys weren't afraid of wet cycles like the new school guys are because of social media. So I'm not saying like Enclomid, I'm like, you know, demonizing it. I'm just saying like it shouldn't be, oh, just take this little bit of tribulus or d-aspartic acid and your testosterone is going to move up like 150 points. No, like with Enclomiphene, the permanent eyesight issues, again, that can happen. Right, that can happen. You can damage the eyes with clomiphene and Enclomiphene, and you can also throw your biomarkers out of whack to where if you're not tracking your blood work, don't mess with Enclomiphene. I guess that's the moral of the story, right? It's not something that I would recommend to someone, honestly, to boost their natural testosterone at all, just because I've played around with clomiphene, I've played around with Enclomiphene, the emotional side effects, it's like a period in a bottle for a male. Unless I'm trying to get off androgens and begin the process to fully try and revert back to being natural, slowly restarting my HPTA with clomiphene and Enclomiphene being that bridge, and or I'm restoring fertility while I'm already on cycle. That's where something like these slot in. These do not slot in as these solo test boosters. That's my 2 cents. That's not stopping people from using them from test boosters, and that's not stopping them from using them for SARM's bases. Everyone's afraid to inject that first syringe of testosterone, so they'll add in this SERM, this clomiphene for the estrogen conversion, and be, you know, who knows how much oral toxicity when they're doing their 3 SARM setup on top of another oral modulated drug. It's just something like, why can we not just market shit how it's supposed to be marketed, in the sense of like, I could simply just point out what Enclomid is used for. Enclomid is used for in bodybuilding to restore fertility, to again boost up natural testosterone slightly as a bridge for you to permanently come off. Meaning that half-life of clomiphene was so long so you could slowly taper off and try and give your body the best capability of recovering naturally, because people don't even know, like, if I wanted to quit steroids right now, let's say I was perfectly healthy, I recovered from PLMS, I recovered from that, now I'm perfectly healthy and I want to quit. It would probably be like a year before I made what I would consider a full recovery to where I mentally feel normal. That clomiphene for 2 months in the beginning would be very beneficial for me to slowly bridge off and, you know, eat through that low as much as I can, get my body fat, everything ready to make natural testosterone. That's the type of use case clomiphene and Enclomid is utilized for. Your testicles are getting too small on NPP, boom, some Enclomid in there, right? But if you're using it as this natural testosterone booster all the time, I think there's just better options than turning to synthetic androgens and or just sticking with the more natural, tried and true testosterone boosters if you're just looking for that little boost. Because jacking up your endogenous testosterone through Enclomid isn't really sustainable, in my opinion, for a long period of time. But there seems to be a lot of people who will tolerate all the emotional side effects because people say that it's Enclomiphene. Come on, guys. Like, I'm sure some of them, it's just regular clomiphene. I've had Enclomid a bunch of times where I've had emotional side effects, not nearly as strong as clomiphene. Like, clomiphene's horrible. Clomiphene is what's linked to suicides in bodybuilding. And now because of this new iteration, which is somewhat, you know, less, you know, bad as far as the emotional side effects, I've done ridiculous amounts of Enclomid to see like the top half of that, right? To see if it like comes close. And yeah, if you're trying to aggressively recover your HPTA and you have to use these big doses, it's not fun. Like, I wouldn't use that as a base to boost testosterone. It fucked around with my mood so bad. The last thing I'll mention is Alex Eubank. So Alex Eubank, in my opinion, is an Enclomid only guy. He's talked about it. He's also talked about his anxiety and everything. And I don't think that's correlated with his blood work directly. I think his life is very stressful from the spot he's in at such the age he's at, and that's where that stress is coming from. But I do notice, like, it's not like this fun ride. Like, testosterone is this fun ride. Enclomiphene is like the PCT get off the ride, right? It's the, you know, it's the after. I just don't understand why Enclomid's getting that popular. That being said, you can use it as a SARM base to get your estrogen conversion, but to use it constantly all the time, I know there's HRT and TRT doctors doing it, maybe a small therapeutic amount, but for bodybuilding purposes, I don't really see it. I'll see you guys in my next video.